10 facts about Tut Ankhamun, the boy king of ancient Egypt. Tut Ankhamun ruled for under a decade, and any record of his reign was erased after his death for thousands of years. It seemed his legacy was lost to the sands of time. It was only since 1922, the discovery of his tomb, that he was become the most famous Egyptian of all time. Here are 10 key facts about the life of the boy king. Tut Ankhamun wore orthopedic sandals. Tut Ankhamun was buried with 130 walking sticks to help with his clubbed foot, which he often wore orthopedic sandals for. These sandals had paintings of his enemies on the soles, so he could always trample on his foes. He had large front incisors and a huge overbite, a characteristic of his family. 2. Tut Ankhamun's carpenters did a botched job. When Tut Ankhamun was buried, his mummified body was laid within a nest of 3 golden coffins, like a set of Russian dolls. When they tried to fit these inside the stone sarcophage, the largest coffin proved to be too big. The toes peeked out and prevented the lid from closing. The coffin's toes were cut away by carpenters, who in their hurry left the shavings at the floor of the sarcophage. 3,000 years later, Howard Carter discovered the cut-off pieces, the first person to realize they never bothered to tidy up. Number 3. He loved ostrich hunting. The boy king was often found to be hunting this huge bird in the region of Heliopolis, near modern-day Cairo. He was buried with an ostrich fan, which would have held 42 alternating brown and white feathers. Although these feathers decayed long ago, the handle depicted the king sitting off in his chariot to hunt, and on the reverse, returning in triumph with his prey. Number 4. No one knows how the boy king died. An X-ray from 1968 found intercranial bone fragments, prompting the theory that he was murdered with a blow to the head. However, this damage seemed to be the result of the modern unwrapping. In 2013, because parts of the chest wall and ribs are missing, a theory emerged that the king had died in a chariot accident. But when the body was photographed at the time of Carter's excavation in 1926, the chest wall was still intact. The damaged chest wall seems to have been inflicted by robbers during the theft of the beaded collar. It's also possible the young king died from natural causes. Some think contracted malaria, and he is likely to have had a bone disease or an inherited blood disease. He was not always called Tut Ankhamun. At birth, he was named Tut Ankhamun, meaning living image of Atun, referring to the sun god. When he ascended the throne, he changed his name to Tut Ankhamun, meaning living image of Amun, the king of the gods. This may have been to disassociate with the reign of his father, King Akhenaton. Akhenaton had tried to shift the culture away from Egypt's traditional religion of polytheistic worship, which had been unpopular. After his death, his monuments were dismantled and hidden, and his name excluded from the king lists. Perhaps it's no surprise his son wanted to keep his distance. Fact number 6. The Egyptians didn't even call him Tut Ankhamun anyway. Egyptian kings had 5 names, and the last 2 were the most important: the prenomen and the nomen. These were the names written on the monuments. So, although we know him by his nomen, Tut Ankhamun, the Egyptians know him by his prenomen, Nebkhebarur. Fact number 7. He was surrounded by jostling political advisors. Tut Ankhamun's father died when he was 7, leaving his young son to rule from the age of about 9 until 18. The youth of the boy king was taken advantage by several powerful viziers, his high-ranking political advisors. Of these was I, the possible father of Nefertiti, who was Tut Ankhamun's mother. It was I's idea to distance the new rule from the unpopular changes made by King Akhenaton, and he reverted the kingdom back to the old religion and made Tut Ankhamun change his name. The military commander Hormoheb was also a powerful influence. Fact number 8. He married his half-sister. When Tut Ankhamun became king, he married his half-sister, Ankhisinabatin. She was later changed her name to Ankhisinamun in accordance with political changes to worship Amun, the king of the gods. They had 2 daughters, neither of whom survived infancy. The 2 mummified babies in Tut Ankhamun's tomb are most likely these 2 daughters. Fact number 9. Memory of his reign was obliterated after his death. Tut Ankhamun's death brought an end to his bloodline, as his 2 daughters didn't reach infancy. His powerful advisor, the Grand Vizier I, ruled for years, followed by the army chief Hormoheb. Hormoheb was the last king of the 18th dynasty, went about tarnishing Tut Ankhamun's legacy, and replaced Tut Ankhamun's name with his own on many monuments, Egyptian Damantia memories. It was only when Tut Ankhamun's tomb was discovered did he become the most famous pharaoh of all. Fact number 10. Since Howard Carter's discovery of the tomb, researchers have conducted a DNA examination of the king's body, allowing them to create a family tree spanning back 5 generations. The tests have been used to identify other mummies, including Akhenaton as his father, Amenhotep III as his grandfather, and Queen Tai as his grandmother.